I'm back. It's been a while, hasn't it? I'm so sorry that I've been away for so long. Work was so hectic. I don't know if you saw a photo that I posted on my Instagram last week. It was of a filming setup. It didn't look anything like this. But I had a couple of comments from some of you saying, yay, you're coming back. And I was like, I'm not. This isn't for YouTube, this is for work. So basically leading up to that point, work has been really hectic, but it has calmed down slightly now, fingers crossed. So it's been a couple of months since I did a video, and in that time I seem to have bought a lot of books. I don't know about you, but I think that I am, and I've said this before, I think that I'm buying books in place of buying clothes, maybe. Obviously we haven't been able to go to the shops, but we have still been able to go to supermarkets, online for World of Books, Amazon occasionally, and so I have been scratching that retail therapy, wanting to buy something itch by buying books. Please say it's not just me. But I have a huge amount of books to share with you today that I have hauled over the last couple of months. Now, I think this is probably from February onwards. So this is haul number 2 of 2021. Now, I am recording this on the weekend before the shops open in the UK again, and the shops I'm most excited about going back to are charity shops. I can't wait to just pop into the Oxfam bookshop, or there are so many charity shops on my high street. I'm really lucky, and just basically just browse the books. It's one of my favourite ways to sort of pass a lunchtime. So yeah, as I was saying, I have got, I think, 20 books to share with you today that I have bought over the last couple of months. They're from a variety of places. They are from World of Books. If you don't know about World of Books, definitely check it out. So it's an online bookseller, but they're secondhand books and you pay no postage, which is amazing. So yeah, check them out. So I had a few books from there. I've got a few books, I'm looking down here because they're all stacked up. I've got a few books from my NB book subscription, which I'll share with you. Some from Amazon, and some that I have borrowed from Michael. I have most of the books here, but there are a couple that I've already passed on. So where that's the case, I'll put a picture in here of the cover. You know how much I love to see a cover, so I'm thinking you do too, so I'm gonna put it in here. First up is actually a book that I don't have here, so like I was just saying, I will pop a picture of the cover in here, and that is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. If you saw my last book review, I said that the next book I was reading was this. I'm not going to do a book review of The Vanishing Half. I've read quite a lot of books since the last time I did a book review, and I probably don't have time to catch you up on all of them. So any that I don't think I'm going to do a review of, I'll just let you know roughly what I thought of it here. Vanishing Half was the first book of a book club that I have joined at work, and I'm really enjoying it because you really get to sort of see how other people interpret stories, which I find really interesting, and you read books that maybe you wouldn't necessarily usually read. So The Vanishing Half was one of those, although I saw this book on so many booktubers, bookstagrammers 2020 best books list. Does that make sense? It was a very popular book last year, so I had quite high expectations. I'm just going to say it wasn't for me. I didn't get the hype, which is quite often the case. I think if you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know that Sally Rooney is a very good example of that. I just didn't get it. And The Vanishing Half, I also... It's not that I didn't get it, I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. But anyway, that was the first book that I hauled. The second book that I hauled earlier this year is Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. Now, this was longlisted for the 2020 Booker Prize. This was part of my NB book subscription. This is a book that I've seen so many people talk and rave about, so I definitely will read it. I just haven't found myself sort of being drawn to it. This one isn't jumping out at me, despite so many people raving about it, but I am sure I'll get round to reading it. Next up, we have my first ever Colleen Hoover book, and this is Layla. This is actually a very heavy book for what is not a very thick book. I mean, it's less than 300 pages, but it's a paperback that's quite sturdy. Again, I mean, how many times am I going to say this throughout this video? I've heard so many people rave about Colleen Hoover books, and I've never read one. So this was one of those purchases that I think I heard maybe Charlotte from Lots of Books talking about this, and I thought, oh my god, look, I've just got to read one of her books to see what all the sort of fuss is about. But people absolutely love her as an author. Basically, this is a result of me having FOMO, of everyone talking about Colleen Hoover and me never having read one. So that's why I picked that one up. Next up, and you can see how I'm very influenced by the people that I follow on here. Next up, I was watching a Lucy Wood video where she was talking about books that she'd read recently, and she mentioned The Foundling by Stacey Halls. Now, the cover of this is beautiful, but it isn't typically something I would pick up, and also the blurb isn't necessarily something that I would be naturally drawn to, but she was talking about it and basically she just sold it to me. So I obviously had to pick this up, but by accident I actually ordered The Familiars by the same author. I mean, how similar do they look? And also they're both the and then something beginning with F. So I ordered this, and then I thought, oh no, after I'd pressed checkout, I then realised that I'd ordered the wrong one. I mean, it's a beautiful cover though, isn't it? Very cool. So then I thought, right, well, I actually do need to order the one that I meant to order. So I now have 2 books by Stacey Halls, and I've never read anything from this author before, but I mean, they're very pretty, and also, again, I've heard a lot of people talking about them, so they're on my TBR. Then I picked up something that was very random, non-fiction, and actually I kind of skipped through this. I've already read it, if you could call it reading it. I have already read it, and that is a book. Are you able to see this? And that is a book of book lists by Alex Johnson. So this basically should be right up my street. It compiles 2 of my favourite things, lists and books. And basically it is not lists of, you know, the 1,000 books you must read before you die kind of thing. It's more things like, so I think the first one is, yeah, Bin Laden's bookshelf. So this is when the US Navy SEALs raided the compound in which he was found. They discovered his collection of books, and so they've basically listed them all here. They are very highbrow, is what I would say. I would love a version of this, of a sort of maybe celebrities of current day and what they're reading or what's on their bookshelf, or because I really found the lists on the books that people most leave in hotel rooms, things like that. That was really interesting, and actually, weirdly, 50 Shades of Grey is #1. So I think this could be more interesting for me personally if it was a little less highbrow and a bit more sort of modernised. But I really like the idea. Next up, we have Firefly Lane by Kristen Hannah. Apologies if I've been holding the books up and you can't see them because the sun's coming in. The sun is in a really annoying place, so sorry about that. I'll try to do what I can to kind of pull back. This, like Stacey Halls and Colleen Hoover, this is actually my first ever Kristen Hannah book. Now, if you've been following me on Instagram, you'll know that I have finished this. I am intending to do a full book review on this book. All I can say, without giving too much away, is I have never cried at a book ever. It makes me sound really cold, but I'm typically not moved to cry by books. But this, I mean, I've heard people say it was an absolute heartbreaker, and yeah, it totally is. It's actually quite a beefy book too, so it's almost 500 pages, but I absolutely loved it. So keep your eyes peeled for the review of that, hopefully coming soon. But you'll see that how I felt about this book has maybe impacted my choice of some books that we have coming up. I haven't seen the Netflix series, which I know people are talking a lot about at the moment. There are a lot of people saying that it's nowhere near the same as the book. If you've read the book and you've seen the Netflix series, please let me know in the comments what you thought of both, because now I've read the book, I am quite tempted to watch the series. Next is, look how cool this book is. I love sprayed edges. So this is another book that I got in my MB book subscription, and this is the Sanatorium by Sarah Pearse. Sorry, I can't hold it much closer because the sun is coming in. This is a debut novel, apparently, and wow, what a debut it is. Again, I will probably do a full book review on this, so I'm not going to say too much, but it's a thriller. Like I said, it's a debut novel by Sarah Pearse, set in a very spooky sanatorium, as you've probably guessed, in the Swiss Alps, and yeah, it totally gripped me. So again, keep an eye out for a full book review coming on that soon. Then we have a couple of books that I have borrowed from Michael. This isn't really, I mean, they were on the bookshelf in the lounge and I've basically just walked them into here to put them on my bookshelf. But I wanted to share them with you. So one is Andy Martin, Stealing the Wave. Know very little about this. So apparently it's about two surfers in the mid-80s who are battling for supremacy in Hawaii, and this is surfing spiritual home where some of the biggest, most awesome waves in the world crash onto the shore. So I think that this is a true story. I'm pretty sure Michael told me this was a true story. I love anything to do with sort of surfing, snowboarding. Shiva obviously was around snowboarding. So yeah, this looks really good. I'm quite keen to read that. And the other one was The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. Again, no idea what this is about, but I assume this is probably one of those books that you need to read in your lifetime kind of thing. It's quite short. It's only just over 200 pages. So yeah, I thought I would give that a go. So those are two I've popped on the haul list, but actually I didn't purchase. Then we have a thriller that my cousin sent me. So back in March, we decided that we would buy one another a book for World Book Day, and we would open them up on World Book Day and obviously read them. And I actually sent Claire the Sanatorium, and she sent me The House Share by Kate Helm. Now, I didn't know anything about this book. I think I'll probably do a full book review of this, but as you can probably tell from the cover, it is a thriller. It is, I would say it's kind of similar to 9 Perfect Strangers in some respects, but yeah, I was really happy that this was brought to my attention. Then we have, and I can't believe that I didn't even have this on my shelf until now. This is so up my street, and I can't believe that I didn't read it last year when it came out. So this is Beach Read by Emily Henry. Now, I have already pre-ordered Emily Henry's new book, which I think comes out, it's either next month or later this month, which is People We Meet on Vacation. So I thought, I kind of need to read this one as well. Whether I'll read this one first, I don't know. But again, so many people had this on their sort of top books of 2020 list last year. So I can't wait to read it. Why I haven't read it so far is the title is making me think that it's something that I should read at least when it's sunny. I mean, I might not necessarily be on an exotic beach. Could be on the beach here, I guess, but yeah, I feel like it's not quite summery enough yet for me to read this, but it's definitely on my TBR for the next few months. Then we have another thriller. I've really been getting into thrillers recently, so if you have any suggestions for thrillers, let me know in the comments below, because let's be honest, I need to have a list of when I head back to the charity shops. So this is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This was recommended to me by a couple of you guys. I've not read any Lucy Foley books. As you can see, I've been quite keen to kind of get to know new authors in this haul, and this is one of them. So again, I've heard a lot of people talk about this. It's also based on a remote island. Oh, and it's set around a wedding. Amazing. I actually really like the sound of that. So very keen to read this, especially while I'm planning my wedding. Next up, we have a book that I am a bit about. So this was my most recent book that I received in my NB book subscription, and it is Exciting Times by, oh no, how do you pronounce that? Naoise? It's Exciting Times by this author. Apologies, I cannot pronounce that. I don't even know where to start with that. This I thought looked really good when I read the back, until it said, where did I see it? Oh, here. Meet the new Sally Rooney. That is enough to make me not want to read a book. I feel like I need to go into this with an open mind though. I did put it on my Instagram and people did say, yes, it's very similar to Sally Rooney's writing style, which I really don't like. But you know what? I will give it a go. I am gonna try to, like I said, go in with an open mind. Then we have, if you can't tell by how taken I was by Firefly Lane by Kristen Hannah, I then bought Fly Away, which I think is the second book in the series, which, without giving too much away, I'm surprised that there is a second book, but anyway. And then I also picked up The Great Alone by Kristen Hannah. This, I think why I was drawn to this book is that it's based in Alaska, and at the moment Alaska is really one of those places that is really appealing to me. I even said to Michael the other day, maybe if we do Canada for our honeymoon, do you think maybe we could spend a bit of time in Alaska? I cannot tell you why, but for some unknown reason, it's really on my radar at the moment. So yeah, I picked up 2 more Kristen Hannah books. I really hope they're as good as Firefly Lane. And then I also picked up, because again, I think one of you was telling me that if I like Kristen Hannah, I should try Kate Morton. Here we have The House at Riverton by Kate Morton. I have to say that I was a bit sad when this arrived from Amazon, because some of the corners had been bent over, and I like to keep my books pristine. But anyway, also some of the sort of back cover is peeling. Let's not think about it. I think this is quite an old book, because one of my friends was saying the other day that they read this years ago. But again, I'm really keen to try new authors, and if it's anything like Kristen Hannah and Firefly Lane, then I will absolutely love this book. Then we have, this is probably the most recent book that I picked up. Actually, I didn't pick this up. Michael chose this in Sainsbury's for me the other day, because he chose another one for me, which I will tell you about in a second, and I absolutely loved it. So I was like, you can go in and you can choose me another new book. And this is The Phone Box at the Edge of the World by Laura Emai Messina. I hope that's how you pronounce it. This book is based in Japan, and the blurb just sounds lovely. It says it's a moving, unforgettable novel inspired by a true story. So I hope it's not heartbreaking. I'm not sure I could deal with that if it was inspired by a true story. But anyway, it sounds lovely. Just kind of perfect for this time that we're in at the moment. And finally, the last book of my haul is The Authenticity Project by Claire Pooley. Now, I don't have it here. I've already passed it on to my dad. This book, I've read it already, obviously, and I will probably do a full review on it. This book is so feel-good. This is everything that you could want in a light-hearted, feel-good book. I'm not going to say too much about it, like I said, because I'll probably do a full review video on it, but it is perfect for this time. Like I was just saying about the phone box at the edge of the world, I believe that's going to be on a similar sort of level as this. But The Authenticity Project was one that I hadn't even really heard of. Michael was in Sainsbury's with me and he was like, oh, I think this is perfect, I think this is right up your street. So I was like, okay, just pop it in the basket. And yeah, he was right, it was totally up my street. Apologies if the shot has changed a bit. My memory card just said that it was full. I've obviously been chatting for so long and it had enough. But what was I saying? So yeah, The Authenticity Project, I cannot recommend enough. If you want something light-hearted, feel good, definitely pick that one up. I think it's like £4 or something in Tesco's or Sainsbury's. So that is every single book that seems to have appeared on my bookshelves over the past couple of months. Obviously it's a lot, but like I said earlier, I think because I'm not spending money on other things, I feel that this is justifiable. We'll see if that continues once the shop's open next week. If you enjoyed this video, let me know if there are any particular books that I've said I've read that you would like a review of. Let me tell you which books I've read since I last did a book review for you. So I actually read Meet Me in Hawaii by Georgia Toffolo, which was the second in the series after Meet Me in London. I read that one. I've also read, obviously, The Authenticity Project by Claire Pooley. I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I think was on my book haul, the first one that I did of the year. If it wasn't, I'm sorry, that should have been in here. Obviously, Firefly Lane by Kristen Hannah. The House Share by Kate Helm, which is a thriller. The Sanatorium by Sarah Pearce. Is that it? I feel like I've read more than that. And The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. If you would like to see reviews of any of those, let me know in the comments below. I have a few that I would like to chat to you guys about. So hopefully, assuming work doesn't get super hectic again, I hope to be back each weekend with a new video for you. Right, I'm gonna pack all of this away now. You should see the state of this room when I film. There is stuff all over the place, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, as always, please give it the thumbs up below because it really helps YouTube and the algorithm. And if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed but you really enjoy book content, whether that's book reviews from popular fiction, chick lit, historical fiction, thrillers, quite a range, to be fair, it's quite eclectic. If you enjoy book reviews, if you enjoy book hauls, then please press subscribe because I really hope to have a lot more content for you coming soon. Thanks so much for watching and I hope to see you again back here next week where I hope to have a new video for you. Take care.